Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
Jimmy Kimmel had this to say, and it's really great, about the liberal media on election night. Quote, "As the evening went on and the results came in, every television anchor looked like a child slowly realizing that no one was showing up to his birthday party." Good morning. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a Patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning. Good morning. Call in. Good morning, everybody. Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, and, of course, some of our great advertisers by the names of, like, see, Western Way Services. Always at your disposal. Call, get on the route service today, 734-6969. Right now, let's go to the phone line and have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Well, good morning, sir.
Well, you know what, Damon, honestly, everything that's coming from the station to me is really fuzzy in my headset, so check that out, please. I appreciate it. Okay. Go ahead and, with your very professional voice, give us the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well done, my friend. Well done. And old Wheels over at our main studio. And right now it's time for the weather. And the weather is brought to you by Cheney Flooring and Home Design. 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for that blue door. They've got a lot of interior design ideas. Like, have you got a plain old welcome mat? Well, use some paint and cheap stencils, like that word cheap, with the help of making it stand out to anyone stopping by. So when you say welcome, it's really going to grab them, okay? I like that. Carpet and flooring, kitchen construction, home decor items, whatever you need to make your house a home. At Cheney Flooring and Home Design. Right now, here's the weather.
Unfortunately, this flood warning is going to continue through today on into tomorrow as temperatures are still above freezing, and we are expecting some more precipitation in the forecast for at least today and tomorrow. Here's what we've got for today. Rain and snow showers mixed off and on. We are expecting a high of 40 tonight, low of 26 with more rain and snow showers in the forecast. Winds are going to be out of the west right around 5 to 10 miles an hour. For tomorrow, more rain and snow in the forecast, about a 50% chance, only a high of 32. And then for Thursday night, looks like cloudy skies, low of 23. Fingers crossed that we're going to see some sunshine on Friday with a high of 33. That is your weather for 7th Ranch.
Gina does a great job on the weather. Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for that blue door. You stop in or give them a call at 678-6945. Oh, we've got a lot of things going on this morning and some changes in our schedule. I want to remind you that normally at 9:30 we have our legislative update, but we've got Minidoka County Sheriff Eric Snar coming on. So we asked our dear friends with the update, today it's Fred Wood, if they could go on at 8:30 this morning with what's going on at the legislature. So there's the change for this morning. Quick note, don't forget to Minidoka and Cassia County's Lincoln Day Luncheon will be held this coming Saturday, the 25th at Morey's Steakhouse Convention Center. Meet and greet at 11:30 and lunch at 12 noon. And they're going to have all the legislators there, Kelly Anthon, Fred Wood, Speaker Scott Bedke, and I urge everybody to be there. Going to be a lot of fun. $25 tickets at the door on Saturday at Morney's. Let's see, one other thing I've got to remind you of quickly. Oh, Ramsey Heating and Electric. Yes, at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Yep. They always provide warm winters and cool summers. All your heating and electrical needs, they've got all your furnace filters, they've got everything, and the knowledge on how to help you. So please stop in or give them a call. Ramsey Heating and Electric, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Number to call, 678-0459. Open 7:30 to 5, Monday through Friday. You know, let me ask you folks this. No matter, and I've got to be fair, there were some times, not many at all, that I said good things or uttered statements of support for Barack Obama. I did not like the man. I made that poignantly clear. I did not trust the man. But I did give the devil his dues, if you will, on circumstances and occasions when he did things right. And I can go back in the archives of this program and prove it. Like I said, to me, they were limited. But no matter what Donald Trump does, or no matter what Donald Trump says, the media, the extreme liberal media, with the left dim-dems, they are going to cry foul, and they're going to pelt him with lies and innuendos. If you don't believe what I'm saying, I haven't even seen today's USA Today, because it hasn't arrived yet. It will at noon. But I can guarantee you the headlines in that very liberal newspaper, every single thing that Trump does, every single thing that Trump says, every single thing this administration is trying to do in their first 100 days is absolutely ripped over the coals. The left and the so-called journalists are absolutely after Trump. And I'll tell you a little story about what happened yesterday. If you didn't catch this, you know, the Jake Tappers and the Wolf Blitzers and the rest of the liberal loons, they were coming out yesterday and saying that what Trump is saying about the media being dishonest could come back and hurt them. Yeah, they're afraid for their own skin. They said that Trump's words of the lying media to the public could incite violence against them. Now, wait a minute. Stop the bus, Gus. Is it okay for the media to call him references to Hitler or a profound racist or a fascist or a dictator? That's okay for the media to do that and totally go after him, go after his daughter, go after his wife because she recited the Lord's Prayer. My goodness sakes, I couldn't believe they criticized that. The media is comprised, and I'm just going to come right out and say it, with a bunch of people that have never grown up and they're crybaby loons. Quite frankly, I look at the left as an entirety of that last statement. Loons. Your thoughts, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Don't forget our friends at Denny's Restaurant. We are going to be over there tomorrow, at America's Diner. That's right, for our great big lunch bunch for February. And we also want to say thank you to Handsome Mortuary, Smiths and Stokes for the gift certificates. Oh, my goodness, yes. We're going to be over there, and I'm going to check out another delicious sizzling skillet. Oh, my goodness sakes, it's going to be fantastic. Or maybe a buttermilk pancake breakfast. All of this and so much more at America's Diner. Don't forget that we'll be over there at 611 Overland in Burley. You be sure and stop in to Denny's Restaurant. Lunch bunch lunch tomorrow. And I understand, Deanne, stop. Whoa, girl, don't walk away. That Alaska's Best is also going to give a certificate for a meal from Lunch Bunch. Okay, well, good. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. And what else do you keep throwing notes at me here for? I got to check that out. We'll hit this a little bit later. Thank you. Denny's Restaurant. We appreciate everything they do. Thomas and Terry, the whole crew. Oh, and by the way, caller, before I come to you, I'm coming, don't worry. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. The number to call, and these folks are the best, and that's 678-1191. They can help you get back to being you. Headed up by my old buddy, Nick Greenwell, and all the physical therapists with the hydrotherapy pool, all the exercises. Nick, I got to get back over there. You've got to help me on my leg. It's really sore. Anyway, Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 678-1191. You call them today. Thank you for your patience, caller. Go ahead. You're on the air.
Yes, Zeb, I think it was around President's Day, if I'm not mistaken. Trump's wife come off I think she was coming off the airplane there, and she was saluting something. Did you see that or hear anything about that? I don't know whether I'm dreaming that or what I'm doing, but you know that, if that's so, that's the first lady that I ever did see salute.
Sir, I did not.
Or rocks in the head or what?
No, I did not see that, and on my program, contrary to many other talk shows, I only deal in facts and absolute specifics. Now, for me to comment on that, I did not see it. I have no knowledge of it, so you've kind of got me there, sir. I don't know.
Well, you, in your spare time, kind of check me out, because I'm sure I've seen what I've seen.
Well, you know, I laugh because in my spare time, and, you know, I'm chuckling a little bit because I did take a little vacation for about 3 weeks, but my spare time starts at 4 o'clock in the morning and ends at about 10:30 at night, so I'm sorry. I'll try to work it into my schedule to find out, but I will get back with you.
Hey, thank you.
All right, buddy. Thank you. I appreciate your call. Good man right there. Nice man. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Really, do you agree with me or not that the media right now, honestly, we have a powder keg that is with a short fuse? I honestly don't believe that at all the media will give Trump a fair shake. I don't believe this is only in the first 100 days. But if we step forward to July, or we step forward to October, or next Christmas season, I don't think they're going to change. I think with the involvement and the behind-the-scenes money of George Soros and others, the activism against Trump is going to get worse and worse and worse. And I just worry about some of the comments the media has made. Over the weekend, there were some comments about that Trump, would never make it for a 4-year term. There was an intimation there that kind of scared me a little bit, the way the verbiage came out from some of the networks. I wonder what they were really trying to say, but trying to shadow their words a little bit. You know, the Wolf Blitzers and the Jake Tappers, all of these people, they should be challenged by you and I to report the facts. The problem still is today that a lot of people, they come home, they turn on the news, they accept what's being said as fact without really doing their own education program. And this is unfortunate because we have, and I'm going to call it like it is, a bunch of liars and charlatans in this news business. Your thoughts, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Come on, give me a call. Love to hear from you. Barry Equipment and Rental, 3 locations, sales, service, and parts, and all the equipment to get the job done right. Jerome, Twin Falls, 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. You know, I got to tell you that with the weather like it is now, I have great visions of spring. I have great visions of going out and working in my yard. And maybe you'd better have great visions of getting your spring order in for a Walker mower. And listen to this, 0% interest for 48 months. Wow. Use what the pros use, the Walker mowers. Stop in and check out all the equipment rentals, the retail equipment sales, all of this and more at Barry Equipment and Rental, Jerome, Twin Falls, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. Really, really good folks. Come on, quickly, give me a call. I'm lonesome this morning. Only had one so far. I need a whole bunch of them, so give me a jingle. While I'm waiting for your call that I know is coming in, don't forget Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. You know, there are many, many choices available for hearing health care. Well, why should you choose Mount Harrison Audiology? Not just because I went there, not just because I'm 110% satisfied, but Dr. Christine Pickup is a certified audiologist with 17 years serving the hearing impaired from all ages. So I urge you to call for a hearing screening today, 312-0957. That number again, 312-0957. You tell her that Zeb told you to call. You'll be glad you did. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. And don't forget, they're easy to find, too. They are right across from the Minidoka Hospital emergency room. There you go. All right, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Oh, and quickly, every Monday we give away a dozen cookies to Sophie's Chatterbox, 530 East Street in Rupert. Oh, you know, I've got to ask them sometime, Dan, find out how many different cookies that they make. I'd love to know. And drop a hint for some sugar cookies. Good old plain sugar cookies. I love them. Well, I'll tell you what, all you got to do is answer a question, and you might be the lucky winner to the cookies from Sophie's Chatterbox on Mondays, 530 East Street in Rupert. All right, now it's your turn, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. There was a full-page ad in the USA Today yesterday, one of which I wanted to comment on this morning. And as you know, I have told you many, many times that the Humane Society of the United States was comprised of nothing but a group of scammers and crooks. They don't care about animals. They don't care about the welfare of animals. All they're looking at is lining their pockets with money. That's right. Well, I'll give you a couple of facts. And this is from the huge ad that was taken out by HumaneWatch.org as they are watching and listening and reporting on the illegal or illicit activities of groups like the Humane Society of the United States. And I want to urge you that whether you're just a puppy owner, a kitty cat owner, or you have horses, cattle, whatever, do not contribute. I'll say those words again. Do not contribute to the Humane Society of the United States. They were caught paying a witness who lied under oath. They settled a federal racketeering lawsuit for nearly $11 million. Wayne Pacelle, I have had personal dealings with him in the past. He is a liar, a fraud, a charlatan, anything else you want to connect to it. He is Humane Society for the United States CEO, says convicted dog abuser Michael Vick would do a good job as a pet owner. And the HSUS has placed $150 million of donor money, listen to this, in Caribbean tax shelters. So, when you think you're helping and aiding animals with the ads that they throw on TV with the pet's looking at you with dreamy, teary eyes, just remember, it's true. HSUS put $150 million of donation money into Caribbean tax shelters for them. They're frauds, liars, and charlatans. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. By the way, on Tuesdays, and he was on the phone yesterday from St. George, Utah, Dr. History, and we certainly want to say thank you to him and all that he does, and it's brought to you by Mini-Cassia Sales. Oh, my goodness sakes, these are good folks. You know what, Deanne? Deanne, I have no paper. Oh, yes, I do. It's tied with another one behind a paper clip. Mini-Cassia Sales, 1321 East Main Street in Burley, right across from the airport, 878-2091. And they've got all the overhead doors you might need. They've got the interior doors. We know that because we got one from him. And they've got a whole bunch in stock. And don't forget, they can help you, too, with all the interior work, get things ready and upgraded for this next season, upgrade your windows, etc. You just get a hold of them today, 878-2091, Mini-Cassia Sales. Hello, Zach, 1321 East Main Street in Burley. Really good people. I am beginning to wonder if everybody kind of slept in this morning. Give me a jingle. I'd love to hear from you. 80% of Americans, 80% of Americans asked in a survey said that sanctuary cities should turn over the bad guys to the police. 80%. The concept of sanctuary cities, I got to be honest with you, as much as I've read and as many people as I've talked to, I cannot see how any town or city, whether it's San Francisco, whether it's Chicago, whether it's Philadelphia, or whether it might even be Boise, how they can obstruct and defy the law of the land and actually be a sheltering place, a sanctuary for illegality and felons and people that have committed the crime of being here illegally and then other things on top of it. How can we shelter those people? If you get picked up for speeding, they're going to have you roll down the window. They're going to ask you for your license and registration, and you're going to get a ticket in accordance with how much you're going to have to pay for breaking the law. How dare we, as a nation of laws, supposedly the most civil nation ever on the face of the earth, how dare we allow these sanctuary cities? How dare we allow what they're doing and allowing people to break the law and basically hide in the darkness and the shadows of these various towns? Everybody that breaks the law should be held accountable. They are not. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Oh, you're probably feeling like I am this morning. I heard the alarm go off this morning, and you know how you always kind of fumble around in the dark trying to hit the button, and it just wouldn't shut up this morning and leave me alone. So I want to talk to you about some good friends of ours, Cordell and Patty Sheridan. Hello, how are you? Up on the hill, by golly, they're having their 22nd annual bull sale. It's going to be March 4th. Don't miss it. Sale starts at 1 p.m. at the Burley Auction Yard in Burley. Lunch provided at noon, and they are going to be selling 85 ripping, outstanding bulls. They've got Gelby and Angus and Balancer bulls, and I'm looking at some pictures of these bulls. Outstanding to improve your cow herds. Don't forget the Great Big Sheridan Ranch 22nd Annual Bull Sale. Burley Auction Yards, March 4th, sale starting at 1 p.m. Don't you miss it. Also want to remind you that we've had that change, and I'm going to be asking Wheels right now, has Representative Fred Wood called in yet?
Yes, sir. He's on the phone for you.
Well, you are just Johnny on the spot. Thank you very much. You're welcome. My dear friend, I have not had a chance to talk to for about 3-4 weeks, and that's, of course, Representative Fred Wood up at the legislative session for 2017. Sir, good morning.
Good morning, Zeb. How are you? How was your little vacation?
Well, let me just tell you this. The sunburn that is now slowly fading into a tan was well appreciated. Thank you for asking.
Well, Well, that's good. That's good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I did. Fred, bring me and my audience up to speed, if you will, as to, okay, here we're looking at February the 22nd, and a lot of things are going on up at the legislative session. What are the hot items that you need to discuss with my audience this morning?
Well, I think the first thing, everybody in the legislature is very cognizant about what's going on back home with the winter and the weather and the flooding and particularly the damage to the infrastructure that has happened, particularly in southern Idaho. Several members of the legislature have been out to tour their areas and understand that there's some people are hurting and there are real issues out there that are going to require funding from the legislature. So I think the number one thing at this point in time is the legislature is kind of turning away from thinking about tax cuts or anything like that to how do we fund some of these needs that state highway districts, the state highway, the local highway districts, and the bridges, et cetera, that are washed out. I don't think we've even started to see yet the extent of damage to the road beds, et cetera, that is going to happen when spring breakup is finished. So the legislature is very cognizant of that. I think education funding is fairly well set, but the state's doing well enough that we've got some revenue that we can put into that. And so attention now is turning to how we do that, what kind of bills would be necessary to do that, what kind of funding streams can we put in place to do that, both for a year or two and then also ongoing.
Fred, where is and I'm going to show my naivete on the subject because I don't know the answer to this, but where is the dividing line as to who is liable for the various roads of the infrastructure, i.e. the Murtaugh Highway District? I'm just using my local district as example, or on a state highway, etc., or the interstate. I mean, the funds, and they have to be almost quadrupled this year with all the damage. Where are they going to get all the money?
Well, that's exactly what the legislature has been trying to figure out. Now, we do have some, the state economy right now is doing well. So the revenue that's coming in, we've got pretty good revenue coming in. So we've got money that we can put into that. But that's exactly what we're trying to figure out. How do we, the federal highway system is not the state's concern, and the state is not going to be putting money into that. That probably will come from the federal highway trust fund. But with respect to state highways and with respect to local highways, how do we do that? Do we put that through the regular distribution formula so that it's split 60-40 between state and locals? Do we just put the direct injection into certain areas? If you do that, then how are you going to choose which area that's going to be? So all of that is in discussion now. I'm not on the transportation committee. I'm not the best guy to talk to you or the listeners about transportation system and how we're going to put money into that. I just came from a chairman's meeting upstairs with Speaker Bedke and the other chairman. Transportation was the number one topic, and going through how much money we think we can put into it, how we're going to put the money into it. Is the money going to be ongoing? Is the money going to be one time, et cetera? But you're right. The infrastructure is going to require, I think, 5 or 6 times the normal distribution into it. The question is how do we get it there? And do we actually need to increase fees or whatnot in the short term to also accomplish that?
Mm-hmm.
So that's going on for discussion right now.
All right, Fred, you, of course, a doctor, and you, of course, and I have had many conversations about Medicaid, Medicare, and Obamacare. And with the possibility of a repeal of Obamacare by the Republican Party with a replenished and renewed idea, what's going on with health care as it affects Idahoans and a bill that you introduced to extend primary care coverage? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, that's been my main focus, and let me tell you what is going on. And interestingly enough, I was at the Ada County Republican banquet last night, and I sat at the same table as Congressman Simpson. I did get to speak with him a little bit about what Congress may or may not be intending to do. With respect to the bill that I introduced, Zeb, to be perfectly honest with you, health care here this year is a low priority. People are much more concerned at this point in time about transportation. They're much more concerned about education and education funding, et cetera, than they are about health care. And the main reason is people don't know what Congress is going to do. And depending upon what Congress does, any action that the state takes prior to knowing what Congress is going to do, Congress could just nullify a whole lot of work that the state went to, and, it would be all for naught. So there's not a lot of emphasis up here. As a matter of fact, that was a topic that we touched on briefly in the chairman's meeting this morning, and nobody seemed that interested, to be perfectly honest with you, and fairly disappointing to me, to want to push for anything. Mm-hmm. I don't want to put words in Congressman Simpson's mouth at all, but from what my interpretation of what he said is that there's a lot of talk about a lot of ideas in Congress, but he said, here's the realities of it. Politically, it has to be repealed, but he said, you really have to replace it with something at the time you repeal it. You will devastate the healthcare economy. You will devastate the insurance market. You will destabilize the insurance markets, etc. And Congress is aware of that. They're cognizant of the fact that that could really be disruptive. The problem is the Democrats are not going to go along with replacing it with anything. So they really find themselves between a rock and a hard place. And it didn't sound to me like, and what he said is there's a lot of ideas, Zeb, but there's no coalescing around any single idea. No particular idea has caught on. So at this point in time, my interpretation is that Congress still doesn't know exactly what it's going to do. It could go in any direction.
I agree with what you said, but I think you will also understand my feelings on this. That if they're going to do something, they being the Republicans in the repealing of Obamacare, they'd better get it done. They'd better get it done right, because a slip-up, like what happened with the Democrats and Obama himself, would absolutely, in my humble opinion, throw the Republican Party into an abyss that they'll never crawl out of, because a lot of people are depending on them to clean up the act.
I couldn't agree more. And I think that's one of the things that makes them worry about doing anything. The Republicans found themselves in this place, okay? They knew that they weren't going to win the election. Trump wasn't going to win the election. They never had to worry about what they were going to do. But they're just like the dog that chased the pickup and reached out and grabbed the tire and caught the tire. Well, now what are you going to do? Well, nobody gave any thought to, well, wait a minute. If we actually win, just exactly what are we going to replace this with? Just exactly how are we going to make this whole thing work? How are we going to pay for this? Nobody has given any thought to that until all of a sudden, on November the 9th, everybody said, oh, my God, well, what are we going to do for health care? And that's the role they find themselves in. And you're dead right, Zeb. They better get it right when they do something. Okay? Whatever they're going to do, they better get it dead right, because if a whole bunch of people wind up without insurance, it's toast.
Absolutely agree with you. Fred, you talked...
It's that serious.
I agree with you 100%. You mentioned education, and I get calls every day after this program regarding what's going on with education funding, etc. Now, correct me on the numbers. I may be wrong, but I understand that almost 62% of our budget, our state budget, has gone towards education. Are you at a point with the naysayers that are always saying we need more, we need this, we need that? Are you at a point where they're happy, they're starting to be more coddled into thinking that you're doing a good job up there at the legislative session? What is the status of education funding right now?
Well, in one respect, education is not unlike every single entity that is funded by the state. There's never enough money, and they're never satisfied. Now, having said that, the state has really increased funding to education since the economy tanked, and we had to really cut back. Education has gotten the lion's share, if you include higher ed and professional technical education and others. It's higher than 62%. And we are budgeting a little different in education now. There's a lot more line items. So if you add up all of the line items, etc., education is beyond what it was back in 2008. They are getting significantly more revenue. I think we are adequately funding education. Everybody always complains. I don't care whether you're health and welfare, whether you're education, whether you're Department of Ag or whoever you are. Everybody always complains that they don't have enough money. But I really think that an education this year is going to be funded. Their budget is going to be at about a 6.3% or 6.2% or something like that. I don't know exactly. They're still being negotiated. But the fact is that there is going to be significant increase in education funding.
Okay, we've got a caller with a question. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Zeb, just to Mr. Wood.
Yes, sir.
We've got this big surplus of money. Why can't that be distributed out and do something with it? Or are you guys going to just sit on it and let it build up? Thank you.
Go ahead, Fred, please.
Well, as I said previously, the big discussion now is how do we take probably most of the surplus and put it into infrastructure, at least for the next year or two. How we do that and where we stick it into the distribution formula and whether we change the distribution formula, etc., is unknown at this point in time. But I think, to the caller's question, I think that most people feel at this point in time that we need to, rather than have a tax cut with that, or rather than put every bit of it in the bank, we need to spend a certain portion of that, a significant portion of that, on the transportation needs that and the infrastructure buildup that the winter has destroyed.
Fred, let me ask you something on kind of a personal note here. A couple of weeks ago in New York City, there were literally thousands of students, freshmen, sophomore, and junior and seniors in high school, out on the streets of New York rallying against President Trump with all kinds of vile statements and bad verbiage. And I noticed that hundreds of high school students from the Boise area were on the Capitol steps rallying against Secretary of Education Betsy DeVos. What are your personal thoughts on that, taking school time out of school and doing what they did?
My personal thoughts are pretty much like I heard most of the legislators' comments. Why aren't those kids in school learning, et cetera? There's a place for protest, and I get all of that, and you don't ever want to try and deny the people's right to assemble or protest or anything. That's not the issue. But to go and protest before you even know what's going on before you even know what you're protesting against, before you even know the name of the person or what they're about or what they're doing. Somebody just got on social media and told you to show up to protest, which I'm sure is what happened, in my opinion. You know, that's what's wrong with our country today.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's sure as simple as that.
We have a caller with another question. I'm down to the last 5 minutes. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Good morning. I just wanted to tell Representative Wood, here. I worked in education for almost 20 years, and I think they're adequately funded. My motto has always been public education is here to assist you, families, in the education of your children, not to provide everything they need, including extracurricular activities and all those sort of things. You know, there has to be a line drawn somewhere, and I agree with him. Education is adequately funded. They need to tighten their belts rather than asking for more money all the time.
Ma'am, I thank you for your call, and I'll have Representative Woods respond on the air. Thank you so much. Fred, if you would, please.
Well, you know, when I was on the Budget Committee, and it still happens today, and it's happened in Idaho for 120 years, Idaho has always been very thoughtful of how we spend taxpayers' dollars. There's no doubt education needs money, but by the same token, the caller is exactly right. I mean, we will fund education to the needs of education to educate the children in an appropriate manner. But beyond that, the bells and whistles aren't needed. And I agree with the caller. They are adequately funded.
Okay, Fred, in the time remaining, maybe you could jump in here and tell us if we've overlooked any questions on any subject matter you personally would like to address this morning. Go ahead, please.
Well, first of all, I am a little bit disappointed with respect to the state has not been able to develop a desire to go forward and do more with health care. That's, I think, the disappointment of the session. I'll be happy to take that call, Zeb.
Okay, we'll quickly take that call. Good morning. You're on the air, please.
I just have a question. Understand there's a possibility of an Idaho call for a constitutional convention. What's your position on that? And also what's happening with Common Core, which needs to be eliminated and changed and get back to state control of our education. Those are the two things I'd like him to comment.
All right. Thank you, caller. And Fred, go ahead, please.
With respect to Common Core, the state has adopted its own standards. And as the speaker said up in the chairman's meeting this morning, Common Core is so yesterday. The state has already supplanted that with its own standards. And the education chairman in the House just briefly stated that they had just passed those new Idaho standards. Secondly, and what was the other part of
the talk about a constitutional convention?
I don't see the constitutional convention legislation going anywhere. It was tried previously. I think too many people are concerned about, can you really control that? And I don't see, at this point in time, I don't see that making it through both houses. So now I may be surprised about that in the end, but that's not a topic of conversation that anybody much up here is talking about. I don't think it has majority support here.
Good. Fred, anything else real quick? I know that phone call interrupted perhaps any other subjects you wanted to bring up. I've got about a minute and a half left. Go ahead.
Well, I do think that the legislature is very attuned to what's going on with respect to winter and the weather and the destruction and damage that it's caused, and will make every effort to try to help as much as we can with respect to that. And so there will be a lot of discussion on transportation. I think education is fairly well taken care of. There may be a little bit of stuff around the edges. I think health care is going to be a disappointment simply because nobody wants to do anything until Congress gets its act together and decides what they're going to do with the Affordable Care Act and how they're going to replace that.
Absolutely.
Those are the three main topics up here, Zeb, at this point in time. And so I wish all the listeners good luck with your battle against the weather and the water. And if I can help, let me know.
All right. Representative Fred Wood, a great friend to the constituents in this area and to this program. God bless, sir. Have a wonderful day, and we'll look forward to the next time on the program.
You too, Zeb, and thanks again.
All right, sir. Thank you. Straightforward visit with Representative Fred Wood, and I really appreciate Fred. When he says something, that's the way he wants it to be, and I respect that. And, by the way, thank you to all the callers with your questions. They were good questions, every one of them. Don't forget our weather, and we're running a little bit late here, but by golly, the weather is brought to you this hour by the Urgent Cares. Riverview Urgent Care, 382 North Overland and Burley. Twin Falls Urgent Care, 2392 Addison Avenue East in Twin Falls, and Jerome Urgent Care, 133 West Avenue A in Jerome. Minor emergencies, major care. You fell off the ladder, did you, Bunky? Well, I'll tell you what, you got a sinus infection, or maybe you really need something to help you with your allergies. Oh, my goodness. Minor emergencies, major care. They're open 7 days a week. The Urgent Cares with Kyle James and his great staff. We're going to tell you more about them right after the weather.
Unfortunately, this flood warning is going to continue through today on into tomorrow as temperatures are still above freezing, and we are expecting some more precipitation in the forecast for at least today and tomorrow. Here's what we've got for today. Rain and snow showers mixed off and on. We are expecting a high of 40 tonight, low of 26 with more rain and snow showers in the forecast. Winds are going to be out of the west right around 5 to 10 miles an hour. For tomorrow, more rain and snow in the forecast, about a 50% chance, only a high of 32. And then for Thursday night, looks like cloudy skies, low of 23. Fingers crossed that we're going to see some sunshine on Friday with a high of 33. That is your weather for 7th Ranch.
Wow. I would love to have a forecast that says, Zeb, guess what? It's going to be 60 degrees and sunshine and maybe light winds. Well, that's not the case. Anyway, the weather brought to you this hour by the Urgent Cares. Riverview Urgent Care in Burley, Twin Falls Urgent Care, Twin Falls, and Jerome Urgent Care in Jerome. And it's so true. Minor emergencies, major care. And they do care at the Urgent Cares. Okay. Let's see, what else have I got here real quick? I got to get this on. Deanne just handed me this note a little bit ago. Deanne, and this is for tomorrow, I see, Thursday, February 22nd, at the Senior Junction in Burley. Holy cow, listen to this. They are going to have prime rib dinner with all the fixings at noon for only $5. Wow, I'll take 6 of them. Holy smokes, prime rib dinner with all the fixings tomorrow, Thursday, February. Oh, wait a minute, Dan, you got two different conflicting. Is it tomorrow, Thursday? Because today's the 22nd. I'm not sure which one you want here. We better check that out. And only $5. If she's listening, she'll come running in here. Is it today or tomorrow? It's tomorrow, Thursday, the 23rd. There you go. All right. And at the Senior Junction, you can give them a call. They'll give you all the particulars. And let's see, what else have I got? Oh, Lunch Bunch tomorrow at Denny's Restaurant, 611 Overland and Burley at 11:30. And our thanks go to Smith's and Stokes and Handsome Mortuary and a gift certificate from Alaska's Best. Everything's going to be over there at Denny's Restaurant tomorrow at Lunch Bunch. Be there at 11:30. By the way, our major sponsor, I ad-lib all my commercials. I haven't written a commercial down in this program for 15 years. And it's so easy to talk about the Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. There's 7 locations that serve you, and they're celebrating the Founders Celebration right now in honor of the 65 years and, of course, the founder, Les Schwab. And I know you're probably sick of hearing me say this, but I was up at Prineville, used to do that rodeo quite a bit during the course of many years, and I had a chance to meet Mr. Schwab. What a gentleman. What a great businessman. Well, our business is earning your trust, they say, at all the Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. And don't forget, they've got tires for your pickups and SUVs. They've got a pickup and SUV tire, I should say, low-cost all-season design starting at just $89.99. And great brake service, fantastic brake service, front-end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries, service to you. They do the right thing because doing the right thing matters. At your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers with Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. The best, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Now, what we've got cooking here, next hour, Dave Bego is going to be on the air. We're going to be talking to him about the stock market, and as a businessman, is he at all concerned with this thing going way up? Because pretty soon, how high is up before it starts going back down again? And then at 9:30, a very, very special guest this morning, because I really appreciate him and all the time and effort he's put in over the last couple of weeks due to the flooding, and that's Minidoka County Sheriff Eric Snar, a great friend of this program, and we're going to have him on the air. And then at 10:06 this morning, yes, it's true, somebody captured the incredible Bulk, and he's going to be here on behalf of the Idaho Fishing Game, Kelton Hatch. So those are the segments that are coming up for the remainder of this morning. Real quick note, Minidoka and Cassia County Lincoln Day Luncheon going to be this coming Saturday, the 25th, at Maury's Steakhouse Convention Center. Meet and greet at 11:30, luncheon at noon, and the legislators will be there along with all the local officials, and the tickets are $25 each and can be purchased at the door. We'll see you there. Right now, Wheels, take it away. I'll be back in 7 minutes. Okay, here we go. Hour number 2 on a Wednesday, Feb 2-2. Good morning, Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, and some of our great advertisers, including Western Waste Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Waste Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Waste Services.
Oh, my goodness sakes, yes, don't forget, call to get on the route service and have your garbage picked up. It's gone. It's out of there. Wave goodbye to it once a week, and the most efficient service. I mean, man, they're like clockwork when they come here on Thursdays. Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Call and get on that route service. Check on the dumpsters. Check on the storage units. Whatever. 734-6969 Western Waste Services. The best. And also talking about the best, I get a chance to talk about our friends Dr. Bill, Dr. Liz, and the whole crew over at Ark Animal Hospital, 750 21st Street in Heyburn. I love this slogan because it really kind of sums up everything about them. They really care about your animals. They have warm hearts for cold noses. Yes, they do. And I'll tell you what, February is Animal Dental Month, and that's very important. And they're offering 20% off on all the dental processes. So, hey, why don't you just get a hold of them today? 678-1177, Ark Animal Hospital in Heyburn. Warm hearts for cold noses. Right now, I don't know if his nose is cold, but let's check and see. Good morning, Dave Bego, back in Indianapolis, Indiana. How are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I am fantastic. How is my old buddy? Emphasis on the word old. I haven't had a chance to talk to you for over a month.
Well, yeah. I'm old, not as old as you, but I'm doing pretty good.
Thanks, Bigo. Listen, let me ask you this. The stock market has been just going up and up and up. 20,000 was a good number. Now there are estimates and claims that it might hit 30,000. How, as a businessman, does this bother you, that kind of the old adage, how high is up before all of a sudden the rocket's going to turn over and come back to earth? What are your thoughts?
Well, I think that's, there's always a level where it's going to collapse, and I think we're getting close to it, because a lot of this is all just based on, people taking chances and going in and buying stuff, and, the economy and numbers don't back it up yet. I mean, things are better, but not to that point, and they're just playing the game, and generally when that happens, you have a fall.
Now, you brought up an excellent point that a lot of people haven't seen or really registered the merit of this market going up. Is it all basically on the assumption of better days ahead because of Trump?
I think it is, and like I say, there's a lot of people out there that play the stock market that like to gamble, and I think that's just what they're doing, and, and they play the game, and if they see that there's going to be a problem, they'll get out in time, and unfortunately, the people that are going to get hurt are the ones that don't watch it every day, every minute, like some of these people do that are driving it up. And those are the things that bother me.
Dave, I had a very interesting conversation with a man from Texas while I was gone over my vacation. And he had a small business. He employed, I think, roughly about 27, 28 people. And he told me that when he got back home, he was going to expand his business. He said the business climate is such that I've got faith in what's going to happen. I've got a renewed vigor and vitality for what's going to happen with our economy. What about it? Do you agree with him, or there again, like the stock market, should buyer beware?
Well, I think buyers should beware. And to be honest with you, we're still seeing across the country, I mean, we're seeing some more opportunity. But we're also seeing a lot of companies that are trying to reduce costs. Now, that all companies try to do that, to keep their margins and that in line. But we're still seeing a trend towards more pushing down cost than what you normally see, and hopefully that'll change. I think we got to get through this period with Trump, though, getting his administration in place and getting some of the regulations changed. And I think this is going to be the big thing that's going to make a difference in this economy, is if we can get some of these regulations backed off that are hurting business, both on a daily basis and through the unions and things like that. So businesses have more freedom to go out and get the job done and not worry about all this other stuff all the time and spend a lot of money on it. So it really is, depends on when he can get some of this stuff done. And right now, with all of his tinkering with the administration and other things and the immigration thing, some of this stuff's being put off.
Let me ask you about your situation back there in Indianapolis, and you are a large employer of a lot of people. What things really concern you the most? Is it the minimum wage? Is it the regulations you talked about? If so, regulations, what needs to be changed to basically give you more of a free rein to run down the track and cross the finish line? I mean, what are you looking for?
Well, I think minimum wage is a problem in some states, and these people don't understand what it does because, unfortunately, especially in the fast food industry, and Puzder, the guy that he first wanted in as his Secretary of Labor, was pushed out because of some of the things he's done in the past. But what you're going to see is if they continue to push this minimum wage thing in different states across the country and nationally, people are going to go to more robots and more technology to reduce their labor cost. And what we really need is to create jobs at all levels so that people can start and move up the ladder. And that's what we need. And but as far as the regulations, a lot of them are with the National Labor Relations Board that are tying businesses' hands and allowing unions to come in and force unionize people, and it really takes up a lot of businesses' time and money to fight these things. And in fact, I just got a call from a guy in Minnesota that he's been fighting it for a couple of years, and he owns some retail places, and he is just beside himself, and he's asking us for some insight on how to handle it. And the other thing is the government, with how Obamacare is handled, and those type of things. The EEOC is putting a lot more restrictions on employers and what they can do and what they can't do, and there's a lot more fines filed against companies, and we need to get away from this stuff. We got to let business people go out and think about doing business, not thinking about what they got to work on and defend themselves with the government.
You brought up an excellent point a moment ago, and I want you to enlarge on that point. When you mentioned about the roboticizing of various jobs, if people aren't available and business want to expand, but they want to cut back on expenses, maybe to bring in the robots. I was listening to an interview with Mark Cuban on television about a week ago, and he absolutely slammed his hand down and said, yes, the robots are coming, and there's nothing you can do to stop them. Dave, that gives me a chilled feeling up my backbone, kind of a George Orwell approach to our future years, because I see families suffering because of machines. What are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, I mean, as I said before, you got to have entry-level positions at all levels, and people have to go out and learn to work and persevere and learn new things and move up the ladder. And you have to incentivize them to do that. And when you're replacing jobs with robots and then mechanization and technology and stuff like that, you're eliminating those jobs. And what's interesting from Cuban, he's being a hypocrite because he's a big liberal that slams, the Republican Party and our capitalistic free market system.
Yeah, that's exactly true. But I want to stay on the left here just a moment. Dave, as a businessman and also someone that's very concerned about the political landscape, I have never, and I said this earlier this morning, and I've mentioned it many times on this program, I have never seen or heard or read more maliciousness with the liberal left media. And they have called Trump Hitler, they've called him a racist, they've called him a fascist, they've called him a dictator, and they expect they can get away with that scot clear. However, at a press conference the other day, Trump called them out on the carpet just primarily to be honest to the American people, and they feel like they've been slammed and slandered. What are your thoughts about the media and Donald Trump?
Well, Zeb, and I think I've mentioned this before on your show, the mainstream media is controlled behind the scenes by the far left, the union bosses and Soros and, his programs like MoveOn.org and OFA, Obama's program that he's out there, hiring people on the streets and stuff like that. And this is all geared by the Republican Party or the Democratic Party because they are not happy with what happened during the election process. They see themselves going in a death spiral, and they're going to do anything they can to bring Trump down and get him impeached or get him out of office. And it's going to get worse as we move on the next several months. And Trump needs to understand that. And, yeah, he has to expose them, but you got to do it in a professional way. You can't go out there and throw stuff out there that they're going to use as ammunition against you.
Right there, though, Dave, are we looking at a house divided almost, and I hate to use this word permanently, because I don't see the left weakening. I don't see the George Soroses not contributing for the insurrection. I don't see the millennials to stop burning and smashing windows at college campuses. How can we instill a country pride, regardless of partisan politics in this country right now? What do we do?
Well, I think Trump and the Republican Party have to be willing to work with the Democratic Party and talk to these people in the Democratic Party and get them to understand what's going on, because there's still a majority of them that understand that we have to do things by the Constitution and by our laws the way this country was founded. And I think a lot of them are waking up to the fact that Soros and the left-wing unions and that have kind of taken over their party, and it's not the union that they used, or the party they used to know. And I think you have to keep getting in front of them and talk to them about it, because my experience is when you sit down and talk to people about this, they kind of wake up, and they understand that, and they start moving in the other direction on what's right. We maybe disagree on some things, but not this insurrection that we're seeing out there.
Absolutely. Now, in a related story, don't you just feel sorry for these poor Hillary Clinton supporters that now claim months and months after the election that they're suffering from PESD, a syndrome called post-election syndrome? Don't you feel empathy, Bunky?
Not at all. You make your decisions. You got to live with them, and these people need to understand that. And again, you have a lot of people, especially in politics, that all they understand is politics. They don't understand how our free market system works, what it really takes to get out there and work hard and do a job and move yourself up. And that's why I've told people for a long time we need term limits. We need to do things that people are in politics for a short period of time and they get back into the private sector.
Well, what has been the conversation, by the way? You and I have visited about term limits before on this program with this segment. And I've got to be honest with you, that came up in numerous conversations with people I talked to on my vacation, business owners and the heads of various chambers of commerce, etc. There was a lot of talk that they are really pushing for term limits. What's going on back in your region of the country?
Well, there's a lot of people that are looking at it, and they want it done, I think we're going to see a continued push for it. But the problem you have with this, especially with the people that are elected to go to Washington, in Congress and the Senate, they like the lifestyle, and they don't want to leave it. They want to stay out there, and we're going to have a hard time getting it through, but I think it's something Trump needs to have on his agenda and get it done down the line.
I agree. We have a caller with a question. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air asking a question of Dave Beagle. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Something I'm wondering what your opinion is, that Rand Paul is introducing again some legislation to audit the Federal Reserve. I'm wondering if you think that that private Federal Reserve and the tyranny that I think they have on us, if they were leveled somewhat, do you think that would help our economy?
That's a good question. Dave, go ahead, please answer that on the air.
Yeah, I think it would. We got people there that are controlling our economy, and they don't. In many cases, they don't know what they're doing, and we need to get back to where the people of this country and the businesses control the economy, and we get things done. And again, a lot of the laws and regulations, the tariffs and the taxes, and we got to get the tax structure redone so that we are giving businesses incentive to grow and be competitive across the world and that. And the problem is now, the Federal Reserve and the people we have in Washington, a lot of this money is going towards their own cause and not for the future of America.
Dave, on a story that I came across Monday, as a matter of fact, on Washington's President's Day, I should say, it was back in your hometown on the south side of Indianapolis about a church that had a statue of Jesus out in front of it, and not once but now twice the statue has been beheaded. This time the head of Jesus has not been located. I mean, this just shows the lack of respect in our communities, not only towards Christians, but morality in general. What are your comments about this, and what do you know about it?
Well, we really don't know anything. There hasn't been much come to light or evidence found on it, and it's sad. But I still think, Zeb, that behind the scene, it's like all these protesters out there, and these people that are stirring up things. A lot of this is because these people are being paid cash to go out and do these things, and they're being told what to say. I was even talking to somebody out in New York last week, and she works there, and she says they're having those protests too, and they've gone out and talked to these people and asked them why they're doing it. And the people are, we don't know, we just paid cash for the day to go out and do this.
Oh, my goodness.
And it comes back to the whole situation that just like when I faced with the SEIU, the union bosses and so on, so then they know how to go out, especially the young people, and brainwash these people and say all these good things will happen and that, and they don't have the experience to understand these people are lying to them. They go, oh, sure, and we'll take the cash for the day, and they go out and do it. And we've got to get out in front of these people, and one of the things that I've mentioned to a lot of people is Trump needs to continue to get in front of the American people and talk to them, because one of the I beat the SEIU, is I went out and I got in front of my employees, I got in front of customers and vendors and other people and the press, and not just here in Indianapolis, but across the Midwest. And as I explained to them what was really going on and the truth behind the matter, it opened up their eyes, and the SEIU start to fade away. And that's what you have to do with what's going on in this country today. You have to expose these people.
One final thought here this morning, Dave, and I as a business employer, I've got to ask you this question, and I'll tell you right up front my feelings. I think each and every one of these people I'm going to talk about should have been fired and no questions asked. Over the past few days, there's been rallies for a day without immigrants, and many immigrants left their employers high and dry, whether they were restaurants, whether they were boat builders, whether they were paving companies, and they connected themselves with that Day Without Immigrants and some of the marches, etc. The business owners fired these people because they didn't show up for work. It was unannounced. My feeling is good riddance. Get rid of them. Let them really see what an unemployment pink slip looks like and go get good people. But the consequences have backfired on the owners, and the national press has criticized the business owners. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's sad. I've seen some of this on TV and some of these owners talking and that. And here's one of the things that, they say the American people won't do some of those jobs, and I'm not sure I agree with that. I think are you willing to go out and really recruit people? Are you willing to pay them a decent wage? Because there have been a lot of instances, and we've seen it in our industry. We've seen it in agriculture. I mean, you probably saw on the news the other night they were talking to a guy that had an orange grove, and he hired these people to pick oranges and that, and he was complaining about it. But a lot of these people are being paid under the table as independent contractors. They're being paid less than minimum wage, and there's no taxes or FICA, FUTA, suit, or anything being taken out of their checks. So what it's doing is driving wages down artificially in this country, and it hurts all of America. And we need to get back where people that come across the border, they're legal, they're vetted, they go through the process, and employers hire them as actual employees.
Absolutely. Quick question. Make it short, caller, because I'm almost out of time. Go ahead, please.
Yes. Do you think if they started to cut back a little bit on the welfare and food stamps and such to people who can do a little bit of work, that they would actually go out and get jobs, that so-called jobs Americans won't do? I know there's a lot of jobs that nobody really likes to do, but when you're hungry, by golly, you'll do just about anything. I'll let you go. Thank you.
Dave, respond to the caller, please.
Well, I agree with him. I think our welfare program and our entitlement programs across this country, really incentivize people not to work and sit home. And I think I've told you the story that I've got a friend that owns a electrical company, and he's a black gentleman. He's had it for 12 years. He works his rear end off. He does a great job. And he was complaining to me here a while back that he can't find people to work, even be electricians. And he's got a friend, he's a black friend who's married, got 5 kids, and his wife lives separately from him so that they get aid for dependent children and housing, refunds and stuff like that, or whatever. And she doesn't work at all, and the guy goes out and he applies for jobs and never takes any, and just signs up for unemployment. And then between unemployment and all the entitlements that his wife gets, they live off of that.
Oh, my goodness sakes. Dave, it's a pleasure to talk to you again, and God bless you and your family. And we didn't make any recent bets for bottles of wine, so we'll just nullify the 90 bottles I still owe you. Thank you very much for being on the program.
I will send a union boss out to get my wine.
Dave Bego, Indianapolis, Indiana. God bless you, man. Thanks.
Thanks. Have a great week.
All right. Good friend right there, Dave Bego, and I always appreciate his segment. Hey, let's take a look here. What have we got to get done? Oh, I want to remind you about my friends, your friends, serving you and your family. And that's Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert. Joel Heward, his family, staff, all of those folks with very flexible hours to be there when you need them. Absolutely. And they can travel to the rural towns and churches to help you with all the arrangements when there's the passing of a loved one. And don't forget always, and underline this, always upholding the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity. Don't forget, please, here's the number, 436-5636. That number again, 436-5636. Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert, serving you. Oh, my goodness sakes. And by the way, also over in that neck of the woods, our friends at Let's Ride. Oh, hello, Nick and the whole crew. My goodness sakes, Let's Ride. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. Now, you look outside this morning, and I'm seeing some blue sky out there. And a lot of people are saying, let's head for the hills. Let's go snowmobiling. By golly, and if you don't have one, this is the place to go. Let's Ride. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World, like I said. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Open Saturdays, 9 to 5. And all the four-wheelers, all the accessories, and a great service department. People that really know at Let's Ride. And there is no doubt about it. This is where the fun is sold. I'm going to go to the phone line right now. And let me preface my remarks by saying this next gentleman is one of the nicest people in law enforcement that I have ever met. I have nothing but total respect for Minidoka County Sheriff Eric Snar. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good.
Well, you deserve it, my friend. Eric, I have been gone during the bulk of what happened with all the flooding and the devastation, etc. And I have been for the last 4 or 5 days trying to catch myself up on all the education as to what's going on around the area. But primarily, let's focus on your county, Minidoka County, right now. What is the status as of this morning, Wednesday, February 22nd? Any updates that you want to make?
We are currently flooding out north of Rupert, north of Paul, and out by just north of Asikwa.
Okay, now when you say you're currently flooding, how bad are the situations in those respective areas?
Very bad. We got several of the roads closed in Minidoka County. The water has gone over the road. The ground is still not thawed out. It's not letting the rain that we've gotten the last few days, it's not allowing that water to seep into the ground because of frost. Therefore, the water's going to take its path of least resistance, and it's going to go where it wants to go, and it's currently flooded out. Property, homes, people's cellars, haystacks, beet piles, all kinds of stuff. People that travel out north to just come take a look, please do not do that. If you have no business being out north of Rupert and all those other cities, please don't go out there because it just creates a lot of issues, especially when you go around the road close sign.
What about the folks, the property owners, the farmers, the ranchers, and the people in that area? Are they being helped with enough help to curb the problem as far as the water going into their homes, etc., or can the general public help them in any way?
Yes, yesterday we had 3 homes that completely underwater that are flooded. Luckily, that was all that we had. With the way the water is traveling, it's still very much snow and ice out north that's left to melt. It's stuff that property owners, that when they do call, we do go out, send out sandbags, and people show up and help bag particular houses. I know yesterday there was one particular house just north of Rupert on Meridian that we ended up putting about 3,700 sandbags around that person's house.
Oh, my.
The water level in that particular area has came up overnight. He's got another 2 foot in his house this morning.
Well, now, Eric, I guess the obvious question is, you've got still a lot of melting capabilities left to create more of a problem. Then our forecast has not been conducive to being good news. We're talking about rain and or possibly even some more snow. You must be ready and willing to tear out what little hair you got left.
Yes.
We are expected possibly to get potentially up to 6 more inches of heavy wet snow, what they're telling me.
Wow. And so what do you do for your county? I mean, let's face it, nobody's wealthy these days. Nobody's got a lot of money to throw around. What about a county like yours? When the governor comes down and declares it a disaster area, what does that mean for you, and how long does it take to start getting some help?
You know, we've been in contact with the governor's office last week in reference to this. We are on the state declaration as well. It is a 50-50 match. We're looking to see if the governor's going to approach the federal government, reference to it, and take it to a federal declaration. But that would be something that the governor would have to do at their level at the state. What we can do for our county is take care of the residents the best that we can. Up until yesterday, we had 15,000 sandbags already bagged, ready to go on pallets at the fairgrounds. I don't have the exact count number yet this morning. However, with the current flooding situation, we're utilizing those sandbags. And then if I need volunteers to come out and help sandbag again, we'll make that call and ask people to show back up at the fairgrounds. But as of right now, we're just kind of in a holding pattern and not sure what the water situation is going to do. I know that over the next few nights, it's going to get down into the teens and the lower 20s area, but the highs for the next couple of days, it's going to be about the freezing mark level, what I'm told.
Well, Eric, how do you prepare yourself as a county sheriff for this kind of a problem? I mean, did you, before all this happened, attend classes and courses about disaster management with flooding? I mean, or is this kind of a fly by the seat of your pants and try to do the best you can?
In mine, it's on-the-job training. I've attended no official classes for this. We do have an emergency manager coordinator for our county. Her name is Kim Vega. She's the gal out of the hospital who's the actually emergency management coordinator for Minidoka County, and this is her first disaster as well.
So now, this flooding that's taking place right now, it's far, far from over. Is there any advice or anything you want to tell our listeners as to the do's and don'ts and what they can do to maybe help their own situation? I mean, kind of give us that information if you can.
If you as an individual at your house anticipate that you are going to be flooding or are flooding, please don't wait till the last minute to call us. Give us a call. We will come out and look at the situation and try to help you out, try to get as many sandbags as we can put up around your property, stuff like that. But there's individuals that have been dealing with flooding for 2 or 3 days, and by the time they give us a call, their house is already underwater.
Oh, my.
But, I mean, it's you know, to the point that we're still in rescue mode here with all the flooding. I'm currently north of Asigua looking at this damage up here on North Highway 24. It's down to one lane traveling through here, but the road is still closed. If you go around the barriers with the road closed, you can receive a citation for a violation of the traffic laws.
Okay. One question I've got, naturally, because I'm in the livestock business, what about the livestock? I mean, we talk about the homes, we talk about the people, we talk about the sandbagging, but what about the livestock? What kind of shape are they in your county?
You know, right now I spoke with the veterinarian this morning, and he says what they're having to deal a lot of issues right now with is the hay. A lot of people have lost their hay in this flood. I mean, I've seen water move big one-ton hay bales.
Oh,
and it's amazing to see that water can flow around them, but there's a lot of haystacks that are submerged in water where the farmers can't even get into them right now to save what they have on the top.
Wow.
But as far as livestock, I'm sure that there's been some livestock that's been lost, but the vet told me this morning, pretty much right now it's just the feed for them.
Oh, my goodness sakes. Well, now, in general, this problem could be exacerbated for at least maybe the next 3 months. I mean, that's a horrendous thing to say, but Eric, you know as well as I do, this might last until the middle of April.
With the flooding? Yes. On the flooding, we still have the dams that are above us. The Bureau of Reclamation is going to release that water when they release the water. It's kind of a guessing game of how much they're going to release and let out right now and stuff, but we're anticipating our homes along the river are flooding here in about a month to a month and a half. But as far as recovering from all the damage that the flooding has done, we're talking into the years, folks. These roads out here are horrendous. One estimate prior to this flooding starting off this week, it was estimated at about $650,000 just to the roads in Minidoka County. That does not include any state highways, anything like that, or any of the city roads are not included in that figure. However, when you have that kind of a damage, I mean, you can only work on the roads for so long, and then you're going to have to do it the next season. So, I mean, you're talking years of getting all this damage repaired.
Well, now, let me ask you this, Eric. You mentioned the dams. What are the concerns about the capacity or overcapacity loads of water hitting these dams? What are your thoughts on that?
You know, I know that Palisades started letting out water is what I was told. I haven't spoke with any of the officials up there, but I was told they started letting the water out in anticipation for their runoff up there. And then I know that American Falls is able to accept that is what I was also told yesterday, but Minidoka has already been letting water out. I think I was told here 2 weeks ago they increased from 2,500 cubic feet per second up to 3,000. Now, normally, Minidoka lets out 3,300 cubic feet per second, what they let out, but I'm not sure what they're letting out today.
Okay. Now, you mentioned just a moment ago the roads, and I have had quite a few conversations with other people involved in transportation, other law enforcement officers, etc. Our roads, even prior to these floods, were absolutely terrible, and now they're devastated. What about the money? Where are you going to get the money for the resurfacing of the infrastructure?
You know, that's where the state comes in. And hopefully the federal government also helps. I know the state it's a 50-50 match. But what it is that based off of population and so many certain dollar figures, what I'm told that Minidoka County has to come up with roughly about $75,000 to meet their match. And then after that, it becomes 50-50 with the state of Idaho. And we've had a lot of people call in and ask them, where can I pick up my check so I can start rebuilding my home? Folks, there is no magical kitty out there to write you a check to have you to recoup your loss and your damages unless you have insurance personally through your homeowners or something like that, flooding insurance. I know a lot of people can't get flood insurance. People don't anticipate on having flood insurance, and something like this happens. But what happens is that the state, with some programs, and I'm not sure the proper programs, but there's some loans out there you can get the really low interest, but it's something that you do have to pay back. Then if the federal government kicks in, the state has a threshold to meet $2.2 million. Last week when I spoke with the governor, he put out at the press conference that the state is already there. But that's the infrastructure that what the state and the federal government own is what that $2.2 million is. It does not include any county-owned roads or anything like that, or any city roads.
Okay.
The governor stated that we was already there. Once the federal government, if they do a presidential declaration, what happens is that the state will meet the $2.2 million, then the federal government will come in, and it will pick up 75% of the tab, and then the state will be at 15%, then an individual county will be at the 10% match.
Wow.
On stuff. So, but it does help. But I know that all the volunteers and stuff like that, we've asked people to gather their time and stuff, report that to us, and in kind, we turn that figure into the state, and I don't know how they compute those figures, but that's in kind that the county doesn't have to come up with. They probably take it on an hourly rate. But it doesn't include just the volunteers' time, but also their equipment and stuff like that. We've had several people who are still helping us today deliver sandbags. We deliver sandbags, show up to a house with a semi-trailer, and then we have a forklift that goes along with it, and they unload the sandbags there. If it's something that you only need a pallet worth, we'll load up your sandbags on a pallet on your vehicle or just deliver it to your house, and we'll take them and help people place those.
Okay. Eric, I hate to even ask this next question because I feel so sorry for all the folks that are suffering from the flooding, but how many homes, in your opinion, in your county have been maybe considered already a total loss? I mean, how many people, in your opinion, are suffering to the point where they don't have a home to go back to?
there's several dozens of those homes that's been affected by this flooding. And whether it's a total loss, I don't know. But I know that the county has asked, and we have it on our Sheriff's Facebook page, there's some links to print off these forms. I'm told it's also at the county's website page that they have as well, that you can go online and print off that form. If you can't print the form off, contact the Minidoka County Clerk's office and get those estimates into us. What that does for us, that's the documentation that we have to turn around and give to the state. With those forms, something that you might want to have a professional to help you look with. If you go out and say, I have $50,000 worth of damage to my home, well, you got to be able to show that you have the $50,000 in damage to your home along with the photographs. That's something that you can email back to the county in reference to that, so we can get those figures turned in. But we have contacted the state this morning, and we've asked for them to send some people down here to help us with our emergency operations center out at the hospital. And one of those teams that are coming down here is not to run the show, but it's to help our EOC members get the EOC up and running and start compiling all these figures. These figures are something that the governor has to turn into the federal government if he's going to go that route.
Right. One last.
You don't want to have a federal declaration being declared right now and still have all this flooding going on. You pretty much, we were told, you want to have the flooding curtailed within the state before you start having the federal government to come in here. But it's all about paperwork and the proper documentation. Along with those federal programs and the state programs, the paperwork is the exact same. So we're not recreating the will. It's just if we just give the paperwork to the state, they in turn turn around and give it to the federal government. That's something that was streamlined several years ago, is what I was told.
Eric, one final thought here this morning, and I know that my audience is a very caring and giving audience. What would you tell the people in this area about helping? I mean, is there a way they can help? Are there work crews needed financially? Do you have funds set up at banks? I mean, give us kind of a synopsis as to how neighbors can help neighbors.
Neighbors can help right now by supporting your neighbor. I mean, checking on them. If you haven't seen them, just because I've had houses that can be complete loss in this area, and, a couple 100 feet away, there's another home that isn't even touched. But if you see your neighbors in trouble, please help them. Please see that they get help. If they're elderly, please call us. You can call me at the sheriff's office or on my cell phone at 312-4382. Again, it's 312-4382. The sheriff's office number is 434-2320. 434-2320, and I know of no banking information that's been set up, or like a GoFundMe account, something that's online and stuff like that. I don't know any of those details, but I know if your neighbor's been displaced, I mean, just making sure that they have someplace to go. We contacted the Red Cross yesterday, Kim Vega has, with our EOC coordinator, and they're not going to come in here and set up one of the local churches, but they're aware of the situation in Minidoka County, that they might need to be able to help out something temporary. That's just to get them like a change of clothes. If they've completely lost their home, is to get them a change of clothes so that they can get your basic daily needs that you need to survive on, and maybe they might help out with a couple of nights in the motel rooms. But after that, I mean, it's going to rely upon the people of this community, and hopefully the people have insurance. But if they don't have insurance, these people literally lost everything in their livelihood and everything that's in their home.
Eric, I'm going to ask you a favor here to please, you don't have to call me every day on this program, but if you would call me on the off hours and let me know what the status is, whether it's worsening, what areas you want people to avoid, etc., or any ways that we can help. I want to let you know that we'll do all we can on this program, and I certainly appreciate the job you're doing.
Thank you very much, Deb. I appreciate it. And I just want to say a huge thank you to all the citizens of Minidoka County and the surrounding counties who have helped our county out. And it's just not about helping our county, but we have helped people out in the Jackson area as well as over into Jerome County on that end of the county. I mean, they have a Hazleton address, but they still border our county, and we've been able to help people in those outer lying areas as well with sandbags and stuff.
All right. Minidoka County Sheriff Eric Snar, I have the utmost respect for this man, and he does a great job. Eric, God bless you, man, and the very best to you and all the people in Minidoka County.
Thank you, Zeb. Have a good day.
All right, sir. Thank you. Wow. I mean, I feel so blessed here, but yet not that many miles away, friends and neighbors and people that I've never even met are suffering. And whatever we can do, if not now, but maybe in the future, I hope that they'll contact us through my office, and we'll do anything to help those folks in Minidoka County. And my thanks go out again to Minidoka County Sheriff Eric Snar, a really great gentleman, and I appreciate him. Time for the weather. It doesn't sound that good, so let's get to it. The weather brought to you by Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. For all your tax return preparations, tax planning, bookkeeping services, financial statement preparation, retirement planning, all of this and so much more. And don't forget that they've got 2 locations to serve you, 1710 Overland in Burley and 625th Street in Rupert. Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company CPAs serving you. Right now, here's the weather.
Unfortunately, this flood warning is going to continue through today on into tomorrow as temperatures are still above freezing, and we are expecting some more precipitation in the forecast for at least today and tomorrow. Here's what we've got for today. Rain and snow showers mixed off and on. We are expecting a high of 40. Tonight, low of 26 with more rain and snow showers in the forecast. Winds are going to be out of the west right around 5 to 10 miles an hour. For tomorrow, more rain and snow in the forecast, about a 50% chance, only a high of 32. And then for Thursday night, looks like cloudy skies, low of 23. Fingers crossed that we're going to see some sunshine on Friday with a high of 33. That is your weather for 7th Rain.
Oh, Gina, thank you very much. She does an excellent comprehensive weather forecast brought to you this hour by Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. I know these people. You should too. The very best of CPAs working with and for you. In Burley and Rupert, Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. Can I say that again? I really bit my tongue awfully hard. Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company CPAs in Burley and Rupert. It sounds so much better when you're not biting your tongue. Thank you very much. Let's see. I'm going, let's see, because I've got a bunch of things I need to get on here. Plus, I have time for a couple of phone calls. Give me your jingles right now, if you would, please, at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. While I'm waiting to take your call, I want to remind you, too, about Cameron Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, by people that can help you. They're dedicated and very accessible and devoted to serving others. And I'm talking about the folks at Cameron Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. The number to call for an appointment, don't you put it off, 436-4424. That number again, 436-4424, Cameron and Siemens Insurance. You know, a lot of us, we get comfortable. And we forget or turn a deaf ear and a blind eye to our neighbors and friends that are going through a lot of problems right now. And I know many of you in the areas of the flooding. I certainly hope and pray that you're okay. I certainly hope and pray that your homes are going to be all right, your outbuildings, your livestock, etc. Like I said, I'm blessed. I'm in an area, I'm a little bit higher. And the runoff, it affected a few things in my garage while I was gone, but nothing serious. I mean, no big deal. And very, very fortunate here, but oh my goodness, my heart literally goes out to the folks in our audience that are suffering. And I hate to say this, but it just doesn't look like it's going to end anytime soon. So whatever we can do, please let us know. By the way, don't forget Minidoka and Cassia County Lincoln Day Luncheon. and that's going to be held this coming Saturday, February 25th at Maury Steakhouse Convention Center. They're going to have the meet and greet at 11:30 in the morning, lunch at 12 noon, high noon. Gary Cooper won't be there, though. After which they'll have a program and auction, and the legislators will be there, Senator Anthon, Representative Wood, Speaker Bedke, and many, many, many local officials. And I want to remind you, too, that the tickets are $25 each, and they can be purchased at the door. I was afraid I was going to miss that, seriously, while we were gone, and I feel really good that it's going to be coming up this next Saturday at Maury's, the Lincoln Day Luncheon. Looking forward to it. All right, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I'd like to hear what you have to say. Oh, and by the way, Deanne handed me this note earlier, and I'm going to hit this. It's time for some of our public service announcements, that tomorrow, Thursday, February 23rd, there's going to be a prime rib dinner with all the fixins at the Senior Junction in Burley on Overland. Only $5. Woo, that's going to be good. And also tomorrow, coming up at 11:30, is Zeb's Lunch Bunch at Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner. And we want to say thank you to our gift certificate sponsors, Hanson Mortuary, Smith, Stokes, and many others, and including Denny's. Along with Alaska's Best is going to give away a gift certificate for a meal, a good one. All of this and more at Lunch Bunch tomorrow at Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner, 611 Overland in Burley. So that's coming up tomorrow, 11:30. Wheels, over by the station, tell me, how bad is the situation right there in the immediate area where the radio station is?
As far as the roads, they're pretty dry. There's no water spots or anything like that. Most of the snow is cleared away, but I know that out in the country and places like that, it's still pretty terrible. Okay, well, I was really concerned about you becoming high-centered someplace and having fish swim by you. That's the thing, is when you and Deanne took your vacation off and, we had that week or two of, terrible flooding, I kind of thought about that. What would people think if they were driving by and they just started seeing a kid floating down the road? Well, hopefully somebody would throw Wheels a rope. I can't afford to lose you, kid. I would hope not, but it'd be my luck that they just look out the window and start laughing, and I'd be going down the road and floating down the river, just like Creedence Clearwater Revival. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. All right, buddy. Yeah. Thank you much. And by the way, coming up next hour, the Incredible Bulk will be here in the studio for the entire hour. And I get more cards, more letters, more emails about Kelton Hatch with the Idaho Fish and Game. Excuse me. He's going to be here all of next hour. And one of the things I want to talk to him about is how hazardous the floods have been on the wildlife situation. So we're going to ask him about that. Right now, we're going to send it back over to our main studio. Wheels is going to take us up to CBS News. I'll be back in about 6 minutes. Oh, the music is playing. And in the background, though you couldn't hear it, I hope, I was visiting with Kelton Hatch. Hey, this is Zeb at the Ranch with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you along with some of our great advertisers, and that's, of course, Western Waste Services, always at your disposal, 734-6969. Ladies and gentlemen, and right now, the band is playing faintly in the background. The curtain goes up, and here comes Kelton Hatch.
I don't hear the band.
Oh. It was kind of a,
I know it was.
Play with us. Go ahead.
How you doing today, Zeb?
I'm trying to reorganize my thoughts that I want to be here in this cold. I really had a good time on my vacation.
I think you're becoming what they call soft.
Well, it's so nice to have you on the air.
Or smart.
Yeah.
I haven't decided. No, I'm all about the snow burden. Yeah. I'm ready to go do it myself.
Is it illegal to shoot one of those?
snowbird. Yeah.
Okay. How are things with the fishing game?
You know, we're starting to catch our breath.
What do you mean?
Well,
is this a slow time right now?
I know you've been gone.
Yeah,
but we've been feeding elk and deer and
which leads
deep
me.
Snow.
No,
and,
I was following everything that's going on, and I have a very, very good question for you. And I know you'll give me a straight answer, is what has this flooding and all the water done to the wildlife in this area?
You know, down in this area, the deer and the elk and everything, everything looks really good.
Okay.
It doesn't look like we haven't hardly lost a fawn from our radio-colored fawns down there. The does went into... when we do put the radio colors on, I talked to you about doing that.
Yeah.
We ultrasound the does, their rear ends, to see how much back fat and butt fat they have, because that's where they store.
Right.
So when somebody harvests a deer, they can see that deep fat that's on their haunches and stuff.
Right.
Highest it's ever been since we started doing it.
Okay, would that be because of better habitat?
Good, yeah. Great summer, good moisture, good grass, good forbs, good browse, and so those does and the fawns went into winter in bucks. Everything went into winter in good condition down here and down south. Up north is a little different story. We've got we're losing some fawns up there.
Can you give us a comparison for those that have not been from Magic Valley to up there, and I haven't in the last 4 months? It's a world of difference, isn't it?
Ankles to waist
of water,
of snow.
Really, still.
Yeah. Well, it's starting to melt off. The Camas Prairie over there by Fairfield the will lines are still covered.
Wow.
With snow. And so, the Wood River Valley, the south slopes are starting to open up there around Ketchum. Elk are starting to move back up the hill, but we're going to lose quite a few fawns up in that area.
Because of the water issue?
Well, because of the cold, deep snow, not being able to get the gray browse and stuff like that. I mean, the snow is so deep up there that you couldn't see sagebrush.
How would you compare this year with the snowfall as compared to other years in worrying about habitat and losing fawns and everything else?
92, 93, but that's probably the worst. But the big difference the huge difference is our deer went into winter in good condition. And another huge difference is we didn't get snow in November that stuck until March.
I see.
And so we had a lot of mortality. The other thing that's really helping us is, we've got good deer numbers. Hunters shouldn't panic right now at all because we've had 5 really good years of fawn production. Yeah, we're going to lose an age class of deer up in the Wood River Valley. We're going to lose a lot of the fawns.
Now,
and I don't know what percentage that's going to be at. Our mortalities on our radio collars are still doing pretty good up there. We haven't had a lot, but I do anticipate when things start greening up and they change feed and things, that's when we usually start losing fawns.
Really? Mm-hmm. Now, when you say that, the snow's still 5 feet deep?
In Fairfield. In Sun Valley, it's really dropped. The south-facing slopes are bare, even though, they got a foot of snow up there just a few days ago.
Yeah.
The wild thing right now, as everybody knows, is just how much water we have in the lakes.
Oh, my
Holy
goodness,
smackers. If you haven't seen something, go down and look at the Shoshone Falls right now. I've never seen flows going over that for a while. Oh, yeah, it's exploding off the waterfalls down there. Oakley Reservoir is pushing it.
Are you kind of concerned about Oakley Reservoir at all?
I'm concerned about all of them. Salmon Falls Creek Reservoir will probably hit the spillway in the next week.
Really?
Because, it's up. I was out there on Monday, and it's 6 foot from the highest water mark that there is out there.
Whoa.
And so 6 or 7. So it's really...
But these next 2.5 months...
there's a lot of snow in the mountains.
I was going to say, this situation could even get a lot worse, couldn't it?
Yeah, I'm hoping to be... I'm trying to be positive on it. I know that the irrigation districts and everybody is doing as much as they can to prepare for the runoff, and they're spilling water in Magic, they're spilling water at Salmon Dam, they're spilling water in Oakley, and all the reservoirs are spilling. That's why we got so much water going over Shoshone Falls. It'd been nice if we could have spread this much precip out over a couple, years or a little bit over the summer, but I think that for the most part, our animals are going to pull through pretty good. We will have some fawn mortality up north. Over in eastern Idaho, there's going to be some fawn mortality. We will have minimal elk mortality, because those elk, they can withstand pretty rough winters.
Okay, we have a caller with a question for you. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, speaking of the water and the flow and the flow over Chokeholm Falls, and this is running down to the Columbia River, and the environmentalists forced us to run down 250,000 acre feet to augment the flow, to cool the, to increase the flow so the salmon can run upstream through the Columbia and the Snake. And right now we're augmenting the flow, even though it's unintentional. Is it a situation where you get credit whenever you do it, or do they have to have us during a certain timeline? So even though we're augmenting the flow now, they won't give us credit, but we'll have to waste 250,000 acre feet some other later date to keep the environmentalists happy. I'll hang up.
Randy, thank you for that call. Go ahead, if you would, please, Kelton.
I wish I was more up to speed on some of this salmon stuff. I do know that I think it's hitting pretty close to the time right now when it needs to. Part of the thing is to have enough flow to push the salmon downriver so that the waters don't get warm down there, to get the smolt out to the ocean. And when we hit some of those big lakes, when you have too much, when it's too warm, but no, we will have to continue augmenting it as long as it goes through whatever time frame that is, to make sure that the smolt make it to the ocean.
Okay.
So we don't get, if it was happening right when it was, the injunctions and stuff had been put on it, and so, yeah, I wish I could answer that, and I'll see if I can find out more information on that. I don't deal much with steelhead and salmon out of our region,
All right.
and so I'm sorry. The folks up in the Clearwater talk about that a lot. That's where all our anadromous fish folks are, and so I'll find out more about that and come back hopefully next month and if you'll have me back.
We're considering it. Let's go through the list here quickly. We've got some time left. Big game season proposals. Didn't you just have a meeting for that?
We had a whole herd of meetings for that. We had one in Burley. We had pretty good turnout. We had another one up in Sun Valley, and we had another one in Jerome. We've had about 150 people from the region that have gone online.
That's a good turnout.
Well, the three meetings, we probably had about 120, 130 at those, and then we've had another 150 go online and fill out the surveys. But do you want to go to the call first?
Yeah, let's go with that call, and we'll come back to that. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Thank you.
I'm sorry to interrupt you at that point, but I was just wondering, when you're parked in your helicopters out just off of Foothill Road by Dry Gulch, what is it you're counting this low down? And I'll hang up and take your answer off the air.
All right. Thank you for your call. Go ahead, Kelly.
Hey, I appreciate that. That's a way to get into this. I was going to talk about that, but we're doing population counts on mule deer. We'll be looking for moose, and any elk that we fly over, we'll be counting them too. And we count everything we see when we're up there. But right now, it's primarily, when you're seeing us down that load, is we're counting the population of deer, overall population of deer, and we've got about 60 hours of flying time in the South Hills and 55, and so we're trying to. Every place that we think that there could be a deer, we're going to fly that area and try to get a count on them.
I see.
And the way this population count works is, earlier we was flying, some folks seen us out there, and we was doing comp counts. And what a composition count is how many fawns and how many does or adult deer, and then how many bucks are in the population. And we was looking around 30 bucks per 100 does during that. Now we're going back in and seeing what our overall population is.
Okay.
And we do that about every 5 years for 54, just because it's a controlled hunt, and we fly our general units more often than that. But that was a good question.
Absolutely.
So you see our ship out there That's us. We're not doing anything weird. We're just counting.
Yeah, but flying around in a helicopter.
Flying around.
Is it a black helicopter?
Yeah.
Should we be concerned?
You should be. Shouldn't be concerned.
Back to the big game season proposals. Quickly wrap that up.
Well, it's not going to be a quick one. We've got some. I really want people to go online. Go to our Facebook page, Magic Valley Fish and Game. There's a thing called Big Game Proposals. You can click on that. There's 3 videos linked to that.
Okay.
If you can't find that, go to fishandgame.idaho.gov, which is our website. Click on Magic Valley. You can click on it. We've got all 3 videos linked on that. It will go through all our season proposals. Basically, our season proposals, we're looking at possibly making 49 a general elk hunt for cows. We're also, the other proposal is to run elk tags up. We're giving out about 600 cow tags. We're looking at doing 1,000 cow tags up there in 5 hunts instead of the 3 and 600 tags. And so we've got those. We need people to vote on that, and I'll talk about the other stuff here in just a second.
We'll take that call quickly. Go ahead. You're on the air. Thank you.
Hey, Kelton, I have a question for you on the water, or not necessarily waterfowl, but all the fowl. How is this flooding affecting nesting for spring?
You know,
hang up and listen to you.
This is really going to help our waterfowl. Waterfowl, one of the biggest issues we have with waterfowl, most of our ducks are raised up in the potholes in Canada and Montana and some of those areas. With all this precip, it gives ducks have higher survival, and geese have higher brood survival rates when they've got islands of, there's lakes of water around them, and they can nest on the islands because then predators can't get to their eggs or their goslings when they're little. And so with all this precip, we should have really good waterfowl habitat. I'm kind of interested to see what's going to happen with our upland game birds because we got hit fairly hard. I hunted until January, and the birds looked like they had good fat on them. And so I think we should have pretty good, but this really helps our upland game, sage grouse, chuckers, huns, pheasants, because this spring, guess what, folks? We're going to get a lot of bugs because there's a lot of moisture, and that makes good bug rearing, which makes good chick rearing for birds. Bug rearing.
Don't say that fast 5 times.
Okay, but there should be a lot of bugs.
Lots of bugs.
And so the chicks can eat. Rearing up in front of a Hungarian partridge chick getting eaten, or a sage grouse chick getting eaten. And so
the cycle of life.
I think it should help us have really good success this year on all our birds.
Now, once again, we'll revert back to the big game season proposals. You wanted to hit some more information on that?
I do.
Okay.
There's no changes for whitetail. We're looking at eliminating the rotating muzzleloader hunt and replacing it with some additional opportunities in the region for muzzleload hunting opportunity.
May I interrupt something there? Was there any shortening of the seasons?
The biggest thing we're looking at is we are proposing to drop all youth either sex hunts on does in 49 and 43 and 48, all the northern units. We'll probably propose it down here in 56, just because all the other regions around us have dropped the youth either sex hunts where they now, and it would only be for a couple of years if we do that. We want to give those youth that opportunity. It's a good way to manage our doe population, but we're still looking at that really closely to see what's going on with winter survival. And so those would be the only ones. The big ones are, the big one we really need folks to go online is to look at our proposal for Unit 49. We're also looking at increasing elk tags in a few of our other units up there. So go online and check that out. And one of the new ones we're looking at we did propose, was having a pronghorn hunt in Unit 55, 56, and 57. We haven't had that hunt for about 10, 12 years, but the population's really come back strong, and we're seeing a lot of pronghorn down there. We're looking at giving some sportsmen some opportunity. But go online, read the proposals. They're listed all out. Give us your thoughts. We need them by today, if we could get them. Friday we got on there the 26th, but we have to have our proposals, what the sportsmen of the Magic Valley want, to headquarters on Monday.
Okay, but what's the quickest way? Email?
Yep, go online and just fill out the questionnaire online.
Give them the email address.
fishandgame.idaho.gov.
And if they want to call, can they call them over?
Call Daryl Meitz, and it's 324-4359 or Jake Powell.
Right. Gotcha. Now, what about this? If you're done with the big game season proposal,
I can't reiterate enough. If you're not happy with your hunting seasons, right now is your time
to let people know.
To let us know.
Yep.
We're setting regulations. These are going to be the permanent regulations for 2 years.
2 years.
For 2 years, because we print them every 2 years.
Set in stone.
Well, it's not quite set in stone, because if we have a winter kill or something like that, we can add something.
Moses with a hammer.
Yes, pretty much.
Okay.
But, so let's hear what you have to say.
All right. Trapping class. You've hired one of the greatest trappers of all time to teach this class. Jeremiah Johnson from Out of the Past is going to teach this, right?
Yes. Or a local resident right here, Jake Powell, and myself.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So, I wanted to tell you about that we have a trapping class. I forgot the dates, and I can't
It's
remember.
March 24th and 25th.
There's my
I'll
paper.
help you all I can.
Well, we're running this trapping class. Everybody when we started wolf trapping, we started selling a lot more trapping licenses about 5-6 years ago. And fur prices were up for bobcats and stuff, and so we almost tripled the number of trapping licenses we had. We had a couple issues on a few things, and so the legislature pushed a mandatory trapping class. They're looking at doing a mandatory trapping class for all trappers that bought their trapping license in the last 5 or 6 years before they can buy one.
Yeah.
Again, we're offering a class, and we don't know for sure that that's going to happen, but this is a fun trapping class. This will be our third one we've done in the Magic Valley. This is just basic trapping. We're going to go out here at Murtaugh Lake. We're going to be setting some traps on Friday afternoon.
Remind me to stay away from the lake if you're teaching the course.
Yeah, we are. We're setting a Zeb trap. It's got a piece of bacon.
Yeah.
No.
I'll hit it with my crutches, and there I am. I can only walk in a circle.
Yeah. Well, we're probably put a little electricity because they contact, and they're pretty good contactors of power. So we'll be setting some traps on Friday. Then that night we'll go start the class, go through some basics, go through a lot of the ethics. The next day we'll go check the traps. We'll do some more trap setting skills and how to look for sign and how to be safe so you don't trap your neighbor's dog and things like that.
Yeah.
Or
yourself. Yeah.
And then we'll be skinning and putting pelts up, showing the proper pelt care.
You do all that.
Yeah.
Holy smokes, you really are, Kit Carson.
No, probably not Kit.
Oh, okay.
But no, so we'll be doing all the taking care of the furs and stretching and flushing and doing all that.
Like they did 150 years ago.
And a lot of people do today.
Really?
But, yeah, and these skills are, and people go, oh, why are you teaching trapping? Well, trapping is, it's a very needed tool in the toolbox for managing wildlife.
I agree.
And people go, no, it's mean and cruel. Wait until you've got a beaver that builds a dam in the ditch that's by your house and your home floods.
Yeah.
Because of or they dam up a culvert and then your road washes out.
And you will become a very knowledgeable trapper.
You will, or you'll be very upset and you'll be calling me and so. But no, if you have any interest in trapping, you can go online, fishandgame.idaho.gov, and go to the hunter education section on there.
Which leads me right up to our next subject.
But then you can click on Trapper's Ed and sign up for a class.
Would you sit still and quit bumping your microphone? You're like a little kid in kindergarten, for heaven's sake.
I don't know why I get... You just make me nervous, Zeb. No, I'm kind of hyper regardless.
Yeah,
I got the jiggly knee. And
I can't believe, if you saw this, he looks like a Bill Cosby Jell-O commercial.
I do.
All right, lots of hunter
Is that
education.
a fat joke?
No, it's not a fat joke.
I'm joking.
Just try something once. Take your hands, put them together like you're in church.
I can't do that.
And just sit still and talk nicely to the microphone.
See, I have to try to doze during church so I don't jiggle.
Okay. Lots of hunter education classes are starting up.
Does that look like a lot?
Oh, my.
I brought them all. And so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 in the Jerome office, 1 in Wendell, 1 in Albion, 1 in Paul, 1 in Shoshone, 1 in Filer, 1 in Glens Ferry, and 1 in Burley. If you're interested in any of these classes, get online. Some of them have filled up, but get online and check. We've also got a field day coming up. So right now is a great time. If you got a kid that's 10 years old or 9.5 years old and wants to hunt this fall, get them in the class right now because they can big game hunt now at 10.
Is there an opportunity for a father like to take a son and the dad to sit there or not?
Oh, you bet. We prefer to have a parent in the classroom.
I see.
Because that way we've got somebody to help us discipline some of those guys. You think I'm hyper? Wait until you see some of these 10-year-olds in there after a sugar day.
If we didn't have a little area here called Kelton's Play Toy Box, we wouldn't be able to keep you on the radio.
No.
That's true.
Little spongy toys to play with.
So anyway, they can go online and check out the hunter education courses.
At the same place,
Okay.
fishandgame.idaho.gov. Click on Hunter's Ed. You can sign up for these online. If they don't work for your schedule, just keep checking back.
And the ages are from 10
9.5
9.5 up.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And it is good. We kind of jested about having a father or mother set in the class.
No, I was serious.
If you want to hunt in several other states, you have to, regardless of age, have to have the hunter ed.
Really?
And personally, to me, it doesn't hurt you to sit through the class with them because then you know what we're teaching, and then you can kind of help reiterate those points. Because our whole goal with this is just to make kids a lot safer.
Absolutely.
And be able to go out. And, a lot of people go, oh, hunter ed, my kid will never hunt. Guess what? Your kid may never hunt, but they will be around firearms because they live in Idaho.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. Your kids are going to run into firearms somewhere.
Absolutely.
And so they might as well learn how to handle them correctly.
Bingo. We have got to take a break right now. We're going to bring in a new, fresh set of toys for Kelton to play with during the break at the bottom of the hour, and then more calls right after we go to our main studios with Wheels. We'll be right back.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
One of the West's most outstanding bull sales, and it's right here in our backyard. It's going to be the 22nd annual bull sale for the Sheridan Ranch. Cordell and Patty Sheridan, good people. As a matter of fact, we're going to have Cordell on the program tomorrow. Problem-free cattle. March 4th is the sale date, starting at 1 p.m. at the Burley Auction Yard in Burley. Lunch provided at noon. 85 ripping good bulls to sell, and free delivery up to 300-mile radius of this area. I'm telling you, the best of Gelbby and Angus and Balancer bulls, all there at the Sheridan Ranch Bull Sale. 22nd annual bull sale, March 4th at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard.
I've been to that sale.
It's a good sale.
Since we moved here. My brother comes over and buys bulls.
They are really nice people,
they are.
too.
And they're good bulls.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, river cleanup on tax day, April 15th.
April 15th. If you are a waterfowl hunter, if you want to help beautify the Snake River down out of Hagerman, on the 15th, we're looking for volunteers to come down and help. It's called the blind cleanup. It's for waterfowl blinds.
Yeah.
We'll have a bunch of boats down there. We're going to have different work crews. They get donations. They'll cook you a meal, Dutch oven meal after.
Really?
And so if you got a group that wants to help clean up the Snake River, it's amazing to me how much stuff that we pick up out of the river. I've been down there a few times with it, helping Megan Roos. She's our conservation officer out of Buell. She's spearheading the cleanup for that area. And so if anybody's interested, you can call her at 539-05 Oh, that's not her. That's the wrong number.
No, 539-0417.
That's not her number.
That's not her number?
Nope, that's my number. I don't know. I don't know why I've got my number. Why
can't they just call the office? And
call the office. Do that. That'll be the best. Is just call the office. You tell them.
324-4359.
I can see every time I get ready to say it. I see you mouthing it, so I'll just let you say it because you got to remember.
After all these years, I've memorized.
Well, you've got a good radio voice, Zeb. So it comes off sounding more professional.
Thank you.
So, but call.
Really, how bad is the rivers as far as a cleanup needed?
I wish everybody took care of everything themselves, but there's a lot of people that live along the river. The wind blows. Stuff ends up in the river. Some of our waterfowl hunters, we get a lot of waterfowl hunters from all around the country. They go down there. Not everybody cleans up their shotgun hulls or their boxes, or we find all manner of stuff in that river. And so it makes you feel good doing a little bit of volunteer work, doing something for somebody other than yourself. But you really get to enjoy it because it's cleaned up. We've got Dr. Irwin. He does another big cleanup on the Snake River, and he's done it for several years. This kind of coincides with his. He does more of his stuff around Twin Falls. But I think it's pretty cool that people get out, donate time just to make things look better for everybody else for nothing. And so if you're interested, you need your 4-H group needs some service, or a scout troop or Girl Scouts, somebody needs some service hours, give us a holler at
324-4359
and just talk about the river cleanup.
Okay. What about new fee proposals? Are you going to jack the prices way up?
We are. Dang it.
Oh, okay.
No, I just want to get that out there. We're looking at a couple things right now, folks, and before the rumors get going around too much, and the legislature, we've put some billing in. A bill in trying to increase the fees, but not for everybody. If you are a hunter, what we're proposing is a thing called fee lock.
Okay.
So, like for me, I buy my hunting license every year, Zeb.
Right.
And you are what we call churn.
You've called me worse.
I have. But you're churn. And that means you buy a hunting license every other year or every
when I remember.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to give you some kind of interesting numbers.
Okay.
People in 5 years, 40% of women and 25% of men only buy a hunting or fishing license once every 5 years.
Really?
We've got, from there, we drop down to about 22% of women and 15% of men buy one every 2 out of 5 years.
And why would you call us churn?
Because you don't buy them every year. I buy it every year.
Okay.
And so 32% of Idaho men that are hunters, 32% of the men that are hunters buy a hunting license 5 out of 5 years.
Okay.
I know this is a long explanation, but I'm getting to it.
Okay.
And only 15% of women that are traditional hunters only buy a license 15% of the time, 5 out of 5 years.
Okay.
Our fee proposal is to increase license sales to people that don't buy every year. So like me, I will continue paying exactly what I'm paying.
You'll get basically a discount.
Exactly. The only people, this is the first time this has ever been tried in the West. The last time we actually had a fee proposal or an increase in Idaho for residents was in 2005, so it was 12 years ago. So things have increased a little bit in price.
Right, but what you're saying is those that are not annual hunters and basically go on a whim of this year I'm going to buy a hunting license, you're going to hang the ornaments in our nose.
Yes, you'll have to pay a little bit more, Zeb, 20% more.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so, I mean, your license will go up, what is 20% of 12? $2.40 for your hunt license.
Yeah.
And so it's not a huge fee increase.
What about the combo licenses, hunting and fishing?
It's $32, and so that's going to go up $6. $6. And so, I mean, it's a minimal fee increase, but if we can get, this is the interesting thing to me, Zeb, if we can just talk you If we can talk 10% of the people into going from once every 5 years to
every year.
Just to every 2 years.
Oh.
We will increase our annual revenue by $2 million.
So a Lexus for everybody.
No, so that we can pay for gas,
Sure,
so we
I
can buy
understand.
and things like that.
How much?
$2 million.
You're kidding.
That's just getting people to buy licenses one more time in 5 years. And there's only 30. I mean, we've got. It's interesting because I've been on this group that we're trying to figure out how to increase our revenue to be able to pay for things without hooking people.
Yeah.
Because I understand how much things cost.
Okay, question. If someone this year starts buying an annual license
every year,
they'll stay at the higher rate permanently, but you'll still get a lower rate.
Nope. If they start buying this year, I'm guessing if this goes through, it won't go through this year, it'll go next year. So if you buy a license next year, you'd want to probably buy one this year, and then you're locked in at that lower rate.
Locked in at that lower rate. Mm-hmm. Okay, I just want to clarify.
So
I'm always ahead of you.
But it depends on whether it goes through. I mean, this is the third time that we've tried this proposal.
Yeah.
It's called fee lock, so you're locked in. And we're not going to jump your rates if you're an avid hunter every year. We're going to look at this for the next 5 years.
Okay.
Before we try anything else. The other thing that is coming down the pipe that I need to kind of fill folks in on is a thing. We're going to have about $700,000 worth of depredation fee charges this year for loss of crops and stored hay and corn in fields. We had to buy a full field of corn over here, 120 acres of corn, because the elk just totaled it. Thank goodness, for us that corn was down a little bit. I feel bad for the farmers. Don't take that wrong.
Wow.
Because I know, but we had to buy a whole pivot of, not a whole pivot, but a partial pivot of corn because they just totaled it. And because of the hard winters we've had if hunters want more animals like we've got right now, we've got to come up with a way to pay farmers for the loss of the crops. Because we're losing alfalfa fields in Fairfield. We'll sometimes.
Is it an increasing problem?
It is. We've got more elk in these front ranges than we've ever had.
Like up here.
Well, 54, 55, and 49, 48, 43. Everything's dropping down into Fairfield, and our backcountry elk populations. We've been trying to grow these because we've lost some of those backcountry populations, just predation and things like that, and habitat issues that we have back there. But we're actually at our highest numbers since we've been keeping numbers of elk in Idaho. But keeping numbers on elk in Idaho right now. If we want to keep these numbers this high, we've got to come up with a way to be able to afford to pay it. And the legislature came to us and says, you guys need to be able to respond quicker and better to a lot of these ag claims. I think we do a really good job in the Magic Valley. There's some people that may disagree. I can understand that. But with this fee increase, what they're looking at is not a fee increase. This is for access and farmer reimbursement or depredation claims. What they're looking at doing is adding a $5 habitat stamp, if you want to call it, or a service fee that goes straight into depredations claims and goes into an access fund so that we can purchase more access from landowners with part of our Access Yes program.
Yeah.
And it will also, so if I buy a hunting license for $32, my combo, it'll cost me $5 more.
37.
That's not 37. It's not part of the fee lock, but it's a one-time fee that everybody that buys any license will be assessed. And we're looking at doing that right now. And so I guess I just wanted folks to know about that. They can go online, comment, or they can contact their legislators. But this is one that we were basically given from, I can't say it was just JFAC, but it was one that we really need to get going because we just have so many depredation issues.
Okay, we've got a caller, and I've got to get a weather forecast on here. Caller, answer yes or no. Can you wait 60 seconds so I can get the weather on, and then we'll come to your call?
Yeah.
All right, hang on. I'll be right with you, I promise. Right now, the weather forecast brought to you by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call, 324-7657. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Scarrows Meats in Jerome. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Unfortunately, this flood warning is going to continue through today on into tomorrow as temperatures are still above freezing, and we are expecting some more precipitation in the forecast for at least today and tomorrow. Here's what we've got for today. Rain and snow showers mixed off and on. We are expecting a high of 40 tonight, low of 26 with more rain and snow showers in the forecast. Winds are going to be out of the west right around 5 to 10 miles an hour. For tomorrow, more rain and snow in the forecast, about a 50% chance, only a high of 32. And then for Thursday night, looks like cloudy skies, low of 23. Fingers crossed that we're going to see some sunshine on Friday with a high of 33. That is your weather for 7th Ranch.
Oh, my goodness, your locally owned custom meat processor for over 20 years, and the meats are delicious. From Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call, 324-7657. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Caller, thank you for your patience. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Ted, why can't they issue more elk permits? Instead of saying such and such hunts as 500 permits, why don't they increase it to 750 or something? Instead of, it seems everything is money, money, money. Seems like there's different ways to do it. Thank you.
All right, we'll have him answer that on the air. He brings up a valid concern.
No, and I understand that. We're looking at doing that. We proposed a general hunt for Unit 49. The landowners about blew up, a lot of them, because they don't want to contend with that many hunters running around on their private property. If we make it a general hunts are a thing of beauty to me because I'm from eastern Idaho originally. Everything was general. There's 6 or 7 general cow elk hunts over in eastern Idaho. You can hunt the Bear River Zone general for bulls. You can hunt a Bannock Zone general for cows. You can hunt Palisades. You can hunt Island Park. You can hunt a whole bunch of those areas general for cows. But I don't know. It's one of those things we've definitely looked at. I've got some numbers. As soon as we get done with this call, I want to go over on where we rank for how much. I've got a list of where we rank on how much licenses cost. I knew this would be a little bit controversial.
Well, it should be. Hey, listen, caller, go ahead. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, Kelton and Zeb.
Morning.
I wish to thank you for being there. This is probably one of the best parts of Zeb's show all week long. Too bad you are more often than once a month.
Oh, heavens.
I really enjoy the information you put out. To me, it is just great hearing you there, and I've learned so much. It's just unbelievable.
Well, I appreciate that.
You just do a super job. I want you to know that.
Well, thanks.
There's only one thing wrong with you.
Okay. Well, that's
deer and elk, you wouldn't be there to help me get it out.
If you gave me a call, I bet I would.
I'm pretty goddamn particular about what I'm going to shoot. I can't do anything anymore. But anyway, I just wanted to let you know I really, really, really appreciate your part of the show each month.
Well, thank you, Jerry. God bless you, man. Good friend. Thank you so much. I'd like to insert a little comment of my own. Jerry said he'd like to hear you on the air more often, and that, of course, is up for a lot of debate from my side of the desk.
Well, you know what, Jerry, I appreciate it, but I don't know that I could take Zeb twice a month.
I think we have a mutually agreed conversation point right there.
So, but
no, you're a good guy. It's just that you're hard to take. Anyway.
It's good seeing somebody gives you crap once in a while.
Okay. Well, you brought in a truckload. Anyway, what about winter feeding?
Let me finish this with the prices. I just wanted to throw this out here. If we go into the lock, I want to tell where we rank with the fee increase and the lock.
Right.
On price of tags, Montana's $34. If we put the lock in place, the fee lock with the $5 fee enhancement, we'll be at $37.50. Colorado's we're number 2 cheapest in the country.
Most economical.
Cheapest.
Yeah.
We're the lowest fee other than Montana. Montana's $34 would be $37.50 for a deer tag to hunt.
Really?
For an elk tag, we're number 2 again. Montana, and then you've got Idaho, Washington. Wyoming is actually $70 for a resident elk tag.
Really?
Wyoming for a deer tag is $55.50. Even if we have the fee increase, with the fee lock, we would still be number 2. Would be $37.50. Current with no fee hike, no lock or anything, we're the cheapest. Most economical for deer at $32.50. We're number 2. Montana's still they're $38 for elk. We're $43.50. For sheep, we are 6th, and for pronghorn, we're 3rd. Most economical. So even with the fee, even if we have this fee increase with the price lock,
it's still a great buy.
We're still the most economical in the country.
Never ever use the word cheap.
Well, my wife calls me cheap.
Well, your wife is a very astute lady.
Well, she calls me frugal. I just say I just use cheap.
Freddie Frugal.
Frugal's too big of a word. I like cheap.
Okay, real quick, we're almost out of time. Winter feeding, deer, elk survival, etc.
You know, we kind of talked about that earlier. We're praying for a slow green up, because if it gets too green too fast, it's too hot a feed for these deer, and they can get scours or diarrhea and dehydrate. And so we're hoping for a slow, but it sure is nice to see the snow disappearing. I know I feel for these folks that are flooding. My heart, like you, goes out to them, but it sure has been nice to get a little bit of thaw just for the wildlife.
What is it up in the South Hills right now?
It's awesome right now. The South Hills, we've got snow up high, but we didn't get pounded on the Front Range.
Really?
We had snow there, but it was only there for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And our animals are looking really, really good. We could have higher survival this year than we did last year.
Wow.
Down there, and so
lots of mises.
I think we drowned a lot of mises and mices and gophers and stuff like that.
No, I'm talking about moose.
Oh, mises. Yeah. Okay.
Stay with me here, Kelton.
That's called mooses.
I know.
And so, but no, we're anticipating good survival. That's another thing down there. I forgot to tell you, we got 3 bighorn sheep hunts in 54 this year.
You're 54?
In 54, we've got this. It passed our. I didn't tell anybody. We hadn't mentioned this yet on your show, but people can put in. We've got this herd of bighorn sheep in 54 that's been just kind of hanging on by a thread for the last 20 years, ever since they transplanted them down there.
Yeah.
And we were able to talk to the sportsmen. It's going to be really, really, really rough to find the bighorn sheep. We have an estimated population of somewhere between 3 and 5 rams in all of 54.
That's pretty big country.
So that needle in a haystack.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that, but this is probably.
But they are there.
This is probably the head of a push pin in a haystack.
There you go.
And so, but if you're down there, you know where they're at. Might be a good way to get your California bighorn sheep. We also increased tags over in 55. Got one more ram permit over there this year.
Can you really hurry, because I've got to do a commercial break? Can you tell us quickly about a fun event, shrub planting?
Shrub planting. If you're also looking for some volunteer work, want to get out and do something good for wildlife, we've got 3 planting dates. down here by Murtaugh in Buckhorn between here and Gooding, Oakley. Between here and Oakley, it's Buckhorn Canyon on 3/18. We're going to be down there on the 18th of next month.
Okay.
We're going to be down by Hagerman on the 25th, and we're going to be out in the Jarbidge. If you want to go see some different country, we'll be down there on the 1st of 4/1. I'm not April.
It goes
April,
February, March, April.
I know, but I'm thinking. You told me to hurry because
you graduated from Utah State,
North Gym, then Utah.
Okay. Hey, don't forget, our business is earning your trust. That's what they say. That's what they believe at all the Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Don't forget, for the very best in tires for your cars, pickups, SUVs, they've got them. The best in brake service, front end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries, it's all there as they celebrate 65 years in their founders celebration in honor of Mr. Les Schwab. Absolutely the best, and the 7 locations serving you, Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. Stop in today because their theme is doing the right thing matters. Service reigns supreme at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Real quick, and this is going to be an oddity, what are your final thoughts this morning?
That really hurt, Zeb.
Oh, I know.
No, if you're, I want to jump back to this.
You only got a
days.
minute.
I
Get
know.
to it.
The planting days. Typically, we get about 100 folks out of these. Great day of service. What we do is we're planting sagebrush and bitterbrush for mule deer.
Good.
So get up. If you're wanting to do something good for wildlife, give us a call.
Are you going to feed us?
At
324-4359.
We're not feeding you. We're trying to feed the deer that day.
You cheapskate.
You know, that's
bring a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or something.
I usually do for myself.
All right.
But bring a lunch and come out and do those, or you can go do the river cleanup with us on April
15th.
Very good.
Tax day.
Hey.
It's a good day to jump in the water.
Get out and have some fun. The weather's warming up. Oh, one other thing I really want to hit.
Would you please let me wrap my program up?
Sorry.
Hurry up. I'll give you 15 seconds.
Okay. Stay away from the deer and the elk right now while you're out horn hunting. We got tons of people traveling all over the desert trying to find antlers.
Yeah.
Just kind of give them a break. I understand people wanting to get out, but don't push them if you're seeing them. Glass, look around, but try to.
Are you done?
I am pretty close.
Would you leave the toys alone? See you next month.
Yeah.
Can't hardly
Maybe.
wait. Okay. Zeb at the Ranch for a Wednesday, closing things down. And we want to remind you we'll be back here again tomorrow morning at 8:06. Right here on Zeb at the Ranch. And remember, the way things were are the way things ought to be. God bless you.